Hello everyone. My name is Nick and I would like to welcome you to my class of 5-breath yoga. Yoga is all about relaxation. It's about breath control, breathing under stress, and that's why today's theme is going to be focused around taking 5 breaths per each yoga pose. That way, no matter how fast you feel like going today, we all are going to be moving at the same speed. Slow it down and focusing on each pose as they come and letting the breath come in and out of your body. I know things can get stressful during the pandemic, so we'll get started right away. The first pose is called standing breath ovation. So standing with your feet hip-width apart, thumbs pointed forward. We're gonna raise our arms above us, inhaling down into your back, and then lower them with your palms forward now as we exhale to our side. Now that's 1, so now we have 4 more. If your shoulders are unable to go fully above your head, that's cool. We can raise our arms instead just to our shoulder level while we inhale. And then open up our chest and exhale as we lower our arms. We'll go through 1 more. As you let your arms drop to your side, relax your neck, let your shoulders fall, and we're going to go into something called front fold. It's kind of like touching your toes. We're going to let ourselves just fold downward, bending at the hips. I'll turn sideways so you can see. You want the hips, and we just want to let our bodies come down, hanging your arms. You can either hold your elbows, let your arms hang, rest your hands on the floor, but any way you choose, we're going to take 5 breaths in this pose. With each breath, on the exhale, try to sink a little lower into your fold. And on the exhale of the 5th breath, we're going to, from the hips, come up to a 90-degree half forward fold. Now we want to keep our back straight here by engaging our core and having a slight bend in our knees to keep the hamstrings active, that posterior chain. You can either let your hands hang here, you can hold them behind your back. If you want an extra challenge, you can extend them in front of you. Either way, let's take 5 breaths. When breathing, try to fully exhale. Get rid of all that old air to make room for the new one. On the inhale of your 5th breath now, we're going to come up. And then on the exhale, back down into a forward fold. This time, let your head hang down, looking between your knees. Relax your neck. 5 nice breaths in this pose. Afterwards, we're going to be going into another half forward fold. So keeping a slight bend in the knees, back straight. Let's take 5 breaths in this position. Okay, letting ourselves sink back into the forward fold. We're going to take a big inhale as we right ourselves almost vertebrae by vertebrae in our back until all the way to our top, and we get our head set nice and on top of our shoulders, maintaining what we call a neutral neck. Okay, From there, I would like everyone to step to the back of your mat, like I am doing. Your heels can be towards the back. We're gonna keep a hip width stance, slight bend in the knees. And now from now, we're gonna take a big inhale and exhale as we go into a forward fold. Now from this forward fold, we are going to walk our hands forward until we get into a position called downward dog. Your hand should be about a foot or so away from the front of your mat. We're going to keep our knees bent, pull your elbows in towards each other, and dig your fingertips into the floor to take pressure off of your wrist. From this position, we want to press our hips straight up into the air, letting our head hang between our arms, looking at our toes. Now, while you're taking 5 breaths in this position, if this is too much on your wrists, another option is child's pose, where we come to our knees, put your big toes together, and sink your butt back while keeping your arms forward and relaxing your head on your yoga mat. Whichever position you choose, we're going to take 5 breaths. Okay, from the downward dog or child's pose, we are going to come to a tabletop stance with your hands under your shoulders, nice and stacked, wrist, elbow, shoulder, all above each other. And same with our legs, knee and hip, right above each other. And from this position, we're going to do some cat-cows. All right, everyone loves cats, and it's Wisconsin, so everyone loves cows. In order to do that move, first we're going to start with the cat, where we arch our back nice and up. Imagine pulling your ribs to your hips. And then for the cow, bring our eyes forward, pushing our butt up into the air, arching our back. Now the breathing for this one is tied to the movements. I'm going to want you to inhale as you do the cat arch, and exhale as you do the cow. All right, now it's important to keep your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees on this one. 5 breath cycles. Okay, after your 5th cycle, staying in our cat-cow position, we are going to move into some shoulder openers and chest openers. How we're going to do this is you're going to take one hand, left or right, it doesn't matter, we'll be switching. But with extend your arm, palm facing away from you, as we rotate our torso, reaching our fingertips to the ceiling. You want to feel and taking a big breath. And during your inhale, you want to feel a nice stretch in the top of your chest, right here. Now, if your shoulder is going to give you trouble at this point, no problem. We can bend our hand, putting it behind our head, and still open our chest by pressing that elbow back and up. So this is a movement, so we're going to do it 5 times with the inhale as we open, and the exhale as we close. Okay. Now, if you're like me and against a wall, you're going to have to turn around on your mat. If you're not against a wall, all we're going to be doing now is switching hands, switching sides of the opening. So, just like with the left hand for me, I'm going to start with my right hand by opening my chest, pointing my palm away from me, fingers towards the ceiling, letting my head turn with my torso so I can open up that chest, and then exhaling as I bring it back down. Remember, if you have a shoulder issue, bend your opening arm and put your fingers behind your head. If your wrist that's supporting you on the ground is causing some discomfort, you can either make your hand into a fist or try again to press your fingertips into the ground, almost like you're digging through sand. That'll help disperse the weight off of your wrist. 5 breaths in this movement. All right, now after we've gotten our chest nice and open, we're going to move on towards some poses that focus on core stability. This one here is called bird dog, and it's going to be a hold. How we're going to do that is from this nice tabletop position. Wrists, elbow, shoulders are stacked. Knees, hips are stacked. We're going to extend one arm forward and the opposite leg behind us, focusing on stability and balance here. So go as slow as you need to, keeping in mind your wrist if you need to, making a fist, digging your fingertips in. But to do the bird dog, here we go. Now this is a hold, so the stiller you can be while also taking those 5 breaths, the better. If you need to let it down for a moment, that's totally fine. If you've brought the bird dog down to relax, now we're going to bring it back up. And your goal here is to take those steady 5 breaths. So, think about tensing your stomach as if you are about to get punched in the stomach. Also be squeezing your glute to help your leg extend. Your glute is otherwise known as your butt. And after those 5 breaths, we can relax, take a breath, and now with the other arm and opposite leg, we're going to extend again into a bird dog, holding for 5 breaths. Coming back to our tabletop position, we're going to curl our toes underneath our feet, pressing them into the ground to lift our hips back up into the air. You may recognize this pose. It looks a little like down dog. From here, we are going to walk our feet slowly to our hands. Now you can keep as much bend in the knee as you want. And from here, let ourselves just take 1 breath
And on the next inhale, we are going to uncurl ourselves to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae.
I want you to feel your head almost click into place right above your shoulders. Okay. Now, please return to the back of your mat. Shake your arms out, shake your legs out. We're going to get into the last section of this workout here with something called Warrior One pose. So with your heels at the back of your mat, you're going to take whichever leg you want to start on. I'm going to start on my right leg. I'm going to take one step forward, about 3/4 of the way up my mat, into a nice steady stance with both feet having their toes pointed forward. Okay? From this position, we want our back heel off the ground. And we're going to begin with, we can either put our hands out in front of us, keep them at your side. You can put your hands above you if you want an extra challenge. Either way, I prefer to keep it at my side to really focus on the core engagement and getting that nice lower body activation. So from this stance, we are going to sink straight down as best you can without touching your knee to the floor. Get it just hovering. Then from here, press back up. That's the movement. So now we can incorporate our breathing. We want to inhale as we sink and exhale as we push up. Now, if you need some balance help like I do sometimes, I can use a wall next to me or a chair. Even sticking your hands out to the side can help your balance. Either way, these are slow motions tied with your breath. I'm going to do one more. And then for this last repetition, I'm going to sink down. I'm going to take the arm that is on the same side as my forward leg and bring it down to inside of that forward foot, as you can see here. Now, we're going to do something similar to the chest opener we did in the tabletop position. We bring that outside arm up, palm facing away from us, fingers to the ceiling, almost resting on that front thigh, fighting to keep those toes in front, all while taking nice and even breath. If this pose is a little difficult, you can modify it by putting your forearm on your front thigh above the knee. Or if that is too difficult, we can also keep it and focus on repeating the Warrior One with the sink. Okay, so from this chest opener pose, whichever you chose, we're going to bring that arm back down. And on the next inhale, come back up to Warrior One and take a step forward, bringing our feet together. Now shake out that front leg, that back leg as we bring it back to our mat. This is going to be the same sequence of moves, but just with the opposite leg. So I will actually have to switch sides here. All right, so with one big breath, we're going to take my left leg now, whichever one you need to switch to. Bring it 3/4 of the way up your mat. Move around until you feel that both legs are nice and planted into the ground, toes pointed forward, back heel off the ground. You can have your hands up, forward, to the side, below you, or hanging, however you choose. We're going to go into Warrior One, trying to sink straight down through the hips while keeping your torso upright. You're going to feel this in the top of your back leg, in the top of the thigh right about here. So remember, we want to inhale as we sink down and exhale as we come up. Your phone's dying. Okay. On this next one, inhale as we go down. Take the arm that's the same as your forward leg and put it to the inside of your foot. While you take a breath to get your balance, we're going to take your other arm and open our chest back up, palm away from us, fingers towards the sky. You may notice one leg is more unstable than the other. And that's okay. Happens to me too. So you might have to work a little harder on keeping your breath nice and steady through this stress. If your shoulder doesn't like that, you can bend your elbow, putting your hand behind your head. If the balance is becoming an issue, you can put your forearm on your thigh and try for a shoulder opener. Our goal is palm on the floor, almost resting on your front thigh. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Okay, bringing your hand back down. This time, we're going to close out by bringing our front leg back to the back of the mat alongside our other leg. Pedaling your feet a little bit to work out those calves, shake out the legs. And for the last movement, we're going to again walk our hands back, or walk our feet back to our hands. Allow ourselves some nice relaxing breaths as we do our final forward fold. And when you feel ready, on an inhale, unfold yourself, vertebrae by vertebrae, letting your head and neck come last until you're all neutral neck, neutral spine. Great yoga. Good job, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in 5 breath yoga, and I look forward to seeing you all again.